After that happened, they went and shot up this nigga family house. They wiped out his whole family. Baby mama, granny. Them niggas is dead. Like, they went and did John's that same day. That nigga peoples is dead behind that. And it's like, most niggas would have been like, I ain't got shit to live for. Shit, y'all killed my people. Big, and if Big you, that's you know, I gotta play devil's advocate.
Black Sam is currently under investigation in connection with the murders of Eric Holder's family members. 4 individuals linked to the man who killed his brother were all found dead within 9 months of Nippy hitting the ground. Detectives are focusing on Sam because someone with significant reach, serious resources, and strong motive appeared to make sure everyone tied to Holder's bloodline paid a heavy price. His cousins were killed. The very next day, his half-brother was discovered dead in his own home. His father was murdered before that same year had even ended. And Sam himself once appeared on camera saying he wished Eric Holder had not been locked up. Not out of forgiveness, but because, in his words, bars were the only thing keeping Holder alive. You need to hear this story. To really understand what's happening now, you have to understand who Black Sam is, because the media often reduces him to just Nippy's older brother. Quiet figure is in the background at vigils. The man holding Lauren London as she cried. The one carefully speaking to the press. But Black Sam is not a civilian. Samuel Askedam, known as Black Sam, was raised in Crenshaw, the same streets as Nippy and the same neighborhood. He is not just Nippy's brother by blood. He was his brother in every real sense of the word.
He loved everybody, and he loved where he grew up.
Together, they created the Crenshaw brand. Sam handled the muscle and the business side, making sure the foundation stayed strong while Nipsey was out front as the public face.
I swear to God, everything he said in the music was who he was, and it's not too much I can tell you about him, and I just hope that he knows we all proud of him.
And critically, Black Sam is rolling 60s _ on.
So much hope, and Nipsey was the people's champ. He gave us all hope.
This is not speculation, and it isn't a stretch. He was raised in that set, and that's important because everything that took place after March 31st, 2019 needs to be viewed through the reality of what the Rolling 60s represent, what they are known to do, and what can happen when someone disrespects a person who holds that level of status and respect with.
It's a major loss for our community. So many jobs have been lost since Nipsey's been gone.
When Nipsey Hussle died, the entire world mourned. LeBron James shared a post. Jay-Z sent flowers. Thousands filled the streets of Crenshaw. Churches were too afraid to host the funeral because of what the crowd might bring. Took LeBron James and Karen Civil personally stepping in to secure Crypto.com Arena, formerly the Staples Center, so the city could truly say goodbye. That's the level we're talking about. And Black Sam watched all of it unfold. He watched his little brother be laid to rest. He watched Lauren London break down. He watched Nip's kids' faces growing up without their father. He watched a man they knew, a man from the same neighborhood and the same set, take everything from them. Do you really think he forgot? Do you think he just moved on? No. The streets never moved on. Let's set the scene. It's March 31st, 2019, a Sunday afternoon. Nipsey Hussle pulls up to his own store, the Marathon Clothing, in the Hyde Park neighborhood of South Los Angeles. This is his territory, his block, a place he built from nothing to stand for everything. But here's where it gets important. Protocol wasn't followed. In that August 2024 interview with Big Boy, Black Sam explained it with the kind of detail only someone who lived it could know. He said, staying close to his exact words, that every time Nipsey arrived at the store, there was a security protocol. Sam stood in the doorway, hoodie on, armed. The team member stood beside him, also armed. That was the rule. That was the policy. But on that Sunday, the doorway was empty. The store was packed. Customers everywhere. Team, according to Sam's theory, was distracted, helping people and trying to run a real business. That one slip, that single break in the routine, ended up costing Nippy his life. By that point, Eric Holder had already been watching the area closely, and Sam explained it like a detective walking through the timeline. He said that before the shooting, a man came into the parking lot with no shirt on, completely shirtless, just to see what was going on and look around. He noticed no one was standing guard in the doorway. He saw Nippy there in shorts, relaxed and unprotected. After checking everything, he turned around and left. Then he returned, this time wearing a red shirt. And here's the detail Black Sam pointed out, and it's chilling when you really think about it. You don't see red shirts in that neighborhood. You can't buy a red shirt at a liquor store in Shaw. Red represents blood territory. You don't wear red in the rolling 60s hood unless you're a blood or you're using it as a disguise, a throw-off, just like Sam described. Something meant to confuse people trying to identify you. The man crept through the alley, came around the corner, and opened fire. Nippy was shot at least 10 or 11 times. 2 other people were injured, and Eric Holder escaped through the alley in a white Chevy Cruze driven by a woman, his girlfriend at the time, who had no idea what was about to happen. Black Sam was 6 blocks away at his grandmother's house when he received the call. He said he jumped into his car, ran every stop sign, and reached the scene as quickly as he could. Nippy was still breathing when Sam arrived, and then he wasn't. Sam said in the interview, "It felt like the Twilight Zone after that. Everything I believed in. My faith was shattered." Keep that image in your mind of Sam standing over his brother as he slipped away, because that moment became the emotional foundation for everything that followed. April 1st, 2019. One day after Nipsey Hussle is murdered, 2 men believed to be cousins of Eric Holder are shot and killed in South Central Los Angeles. One day. They didn't even wait 24 hours. The LAPD made it clear that these men were not believed to have any connection to Nippy's murder. They were never suspected of taking part. Their only link was knowing the wrong person, but on the streets, everyone understood exactly what it meant. The rolling 60s didn't need to issue any statement. The message was delivered instantly and without hesitation. You hurt one of ours, we hurt one of yours. On April 2nd, Eric Holder is arrested. He's taken into custody in Bellflower, a suburb of LA, and placed in solitary confinement while the legal process moves forward. And here's the reality of Holder sitting in a jail cell. Physically, he can't be touched. But his family is still outside. Now it's about a month after Nipsey's murder. Very little has calmed down. The memorial has passed, yet the mourning still feels fresh. Then Eric Holder's half-brother is found dead inside his own home, discovered mysteriously in his crib. There's no major coverage, no huge headlines. Till the streets notice, because by now people are connecting the dots. This doesn't feel random. Feels deliberate. Feels calculated. Someone is sending a message to Eric Holder in the only way that can reach him while he's locked up, through the deaths of the people he loves. Then the year comes to a close. In December 2019, Eric Holder's father was murdered in Los Angeles. His father, a man who, according to all reports, had nothing to do with his son's actions. A man who later wrote a letter that was read aloud in court, apologizing on behalf of his son. A man who fully understood the seriousness of what Eric had done. That man was killed. In the months that followed, 4 family members were also gone, 2 cousins, a half-brother, and a father, all within less than 9 months after Nippy's murder. No point was anyone charged, and no suspect was ever publicly identified by law enforcement in connection with those deaths. Since then, one question has continued to circulate in the streets. Who had the motive, the means, and the reach to make all of this happen? Fast forward to August 9, 2024, 5 years later. For most people, the story feels finished. Eric Holder is behind bars, serving 60 years to life, and the court case is officially closed. Then Black Sam, who has stayed quiet, calm, and almost monk-like in how he's handled the public eye, sits down with Big Boy for a rare, long, and deeply personal interview. In it, he shares details that, if you listen closely, say a lot. He talks about security procedures, describes how the area may have been watched beforehand, and explains his belief that Holder was sent there, that he didn't act alone, and that someone used him to reach Nippy. He also says Holder seemed nervous, didn't move smoothly, and hesitated. But the moment that really spreads online is this. Sam says he wishes Eric Holder weren't locked up. And he asks everyone to slow down and really think about that. A man whose younger brother was killed by Eric Holder has said he actually wishes Holder were not in prison. He explained that prison, in his view, protected Holder from what might have happened to him outside on the streets. Think about what that really suggests. He isn't saying this because he has forgiven him or wants Holder free. What he's suggesting is that the prison walls are the only reason Eric Holder is still alive. He is implying, without directly saying it, that if Eric Holder had stayed on the streets, things could have ended very differently, and the internet reacted strongly to that statement. That quote, when added to the 4 bodies that were reported within 9 months of Nippy's death, and the fact that Sam was clearly carrying the burden of everything, began to form a larger picture. A picture that, according to reports, law enforcement was also paying attention to. Now things get more intense, and it's important to clearly separate what is confirmed from what is only being alleged. So far, there have been no official charges against Black Sam, no public indictment, and no press conference from the LAPD. What is widely circulating on social media, certain blogs, and street-level discussions is the claim that Sam is being looked into and that investigators have quietly reviewed the deaths linked to Eric Holder's family members while also asking questions about who may have had the connections and motivation behind such alleged retaliation. And when you look at the timing, the relationships, and the surrounding street dynamics, the discussion keeps returning to the same point. Now let's go over the evidence people on the streets are pointing to. First, the speed. Cousins were dead just one day after Nipsey. That doesn't look improvised. It doesn't seem like a random person acting out of grief. This would require knowing who Eric Holder's people are, where they live, and coordination to act on that information faster than the news cycle could process what had happened. That looks organized. That looks calculated. Second, the escalation. Schlater's death came in waves, not all at once. Cousins first, then the half-brother a month later, then the father by the end of the year. This isn't mob anger. This is a methodical progression. Someone was making deliberate decisions about timing. Third, Sam's own words. He went on record saying Holder was probably following orders that someone sent him. That means Sam believes there's a bigger conspiracy around Nipsey's death. And if you believe there's a conspiracy, if you believe your brother was set up and executed, your retaliation wouldn't stop at the shooter. You'd be going up the chain. And fourth, the Brick Baby situation. In late 2024, Brick Baby, a rapper who has been publicly vocal about his longtime friendship with Eric Holder, revealed that he and Black Sam had a direct confrontation, a clash over the fact that Brick Baby remained publicly associated with Holder. Brick Baby said he understood where Sam was coming from emotionally, but he couldn't deny a lifelong relationship. That confrontation showed Sam is active in grief and anger over the situation. Years later, he is not at peace. Is not done but now. Here's what really happened, and this is the part that helps the investigation narrative make sense as more than simple street gossip. Law enforcement in Los Angeles has long kept open investigations into gang-related retaliatory killings. The murders of Eric Holder's family members were never officially solved, which means those cases remain technically active. And when there are 4 unsolved murders tied to one of the most high-profile gang-related killings in LA history, detectives never fully close the file. So when people ask whether Black Sam is being investigated, a more accurate way to frame it is whether his name has ever surfaced within those open investigations in a city like Los Angeles in a case this large. It would actually be more surprising if it hadn't. Meanwhile, Eric Holder's reality today is different. He is serving time in state prison, 60 years to life, with no realistic chance of parole in his lifetime. And his attorney made a statement in 2023 that is hard to ignore. He said, "Once Holder gets to state prison, he'll be a marked man. There is a green light on him from every gang that ever loved Nipsey Hussle. And Nipsey was loved everywhere." His lawyer was very direct, saying that life in prison for him would be extremely difficult for as long as he remains there. That wasn't just a legal comment, it was a clear warning. It was someone who understands the system, making it known that Eric Holder's safety inside is far from certain. And that's even before you consider that 4 members of his family are already gone. The man many believe was responsible has also publicly said he wished Holder could be reached on the streets. In this situation, Eric Holder is a man with no real way out. He can't appeal his way free. He can't talk his way out of it by cooperating. And in a bitter twist, that's exactly what led to Nipsey's death in the first place. The idea of being labeled a snitch. Can't simply relocate. He can't fully protect himself or what's left of his family. He's someone who made the worst choice of his life on March 31st, 2019, and he will be dealing with the consequences in every way for the rest of his life. And his father, who had written an apology letter during the trial, never lived to see the final sentence. That shows the heavy weight of everything involved here. Now stepping back, this isn't only a story about revenge and violence. It's also about what happens to those left behind after a tragedy on this scale. Black Sam helped build something with his brother. He didn't just lose a sibling. He lost a business partner, a driving creative mind, and a cultural movement that was still growing into what it was meant to become. And he has had to continue carrying that forward like a long, exhausting marathon. Literally, the Marathon clothing store, Marathon Burger, and the legacy behind them. Sam has been the one keeping that together while dealing with unimaginable grief. And the real story here is how tightly he has held himself together. He hasn't been out on social media arguing or engaging in public drama. He hasn't been giving out reckless interviews every other month. Instead, he has stayed quiet, deliberate, and controlled. The Big Boy interview in August 2024 was rare for a reason. This is a man who only speaks when he has something to say, which is why every word he spoke in that interview carries 10 times the weight. When Black Sam says he believes the murder was planned in advance and that Holder was sent, that is not a statement made lightly or without deep reflection. When he says he wishes Holder wasn't locked up, that is not a mistake in wording. It is telling you exactly where he stands. And that statement is, no cap, the reason this investigation narrative exists. Because when you are Sam with his background, his connections, and 4 people tied to the man who killed your brother ending up dead, and then you appear on camera saying you wish that man were out on the streets, the questions that follow are unavoidable. Is Black Sam simply a grieving brother loyal to his circle, or something far more? The mind behind a retaliation so complete it erased a generation of one family. Truth is, honestly, and real recognizes real. Those two things may not even be separate in the world where everything happened. Y'all, this story is not finished right now. Eric Holder still has a green light on him inside prison walls. 4 of his family members are now dead under circumstances no one has been charged for. Black Sam is reportedly on law enforcement's radar. Not because there's been an arrest or charge, but because in a case this big, with this many bodies and unanswered questions, they would need to look at everyone with motive and means. And the man who had the most motive of anyone in this entire situation just gave a public interview. 5 years later, clearly almost saying he understands why it all happened. The marathon continues. That's what they always say, you know, and it's true. The store is open today. Kids are growing up fast. Lauren London is healing slowly. The music still plays on. But underneath all of that, there are still active investigations. There are still questions. There are still people in Crenshaw and beyond who know more than they've said publicly. Nipsey Hussle used to say, having strong enemies is a blessing. Black Sam understood that when you try to build something real in the streets, there are always people who will try to destroy it. And in the end, he paid that price with his life. What people don't talk about enough is the cost still being carried by those who loved him. Black Sam wakes up every single day holding a weight most of us could never fully understand. He built a legacy. He stood firm. He kept going even when everything in him was breaking. And whether he did what the streets claim he did or not, the code he lives by, the environment he was raised in, and the deep love he had for his brother made him someone you would never want to stand against. All I'm saying is it's shitty because they made a decision on March 31st, 2019. And that decision brought consequences that went far beyond that parking lot in Hyde Park. The streets always keep score. They never forget. Drop a comment and tell me, do you believe Black Sam is responsible for what happened to Eric Holder's family? And based on everything that happened, does any of this change how you see the legacy of Nipsey Hussle? I want to know what you think. And if you don't know the full story of who set Nippy up, because according to Black Sam himself, Eric Holder did not act alone. Stay tuned because that video is coming next and it's going to completely shift how you understand this entire situation.